Hey friends, it's Joe from DadBod. Today's day 66 and we have a recovery walk. It's around 81 degrees, super humid, and like 5:31 in the morning, so let's get to work. Now today it's nice and chill. We have a 2-mile run, which we've done this before, so there really should be no surprises in this. We know the drill, right? Overall, I think my body feels pretty well put together. Anyone's quads sore from squats on squats? Stupid squats. The one concern I have is today's slippery. Like there was some rain last night. So, rain last night. Here we go.
Begin workout.
So we got a nice mellow 2-mile jog. Let me put that in my pocket. Nice and easy. Nice trottle today. No need to impress anybody. We did all the work on Monday. We hit our strength on Tuesday. Just getting out on our body. Nice and easy. But G-Sun's starting his morning. River looks really murky today. My core is a little sore though. I'm like trying to find it. Struggling. So whenever there's a nice rain, the river runs a little higher, which you might have noticed. So if it's in a really, really heavy rain, it can get dangerous out here. I'm just getting started. I was like, oh, it's too hot. It's too humid. I'm already tired. It's like, bro, you just started. Keep waddling out on those little meat sticks of yours you call legs. We got a nice pump yesterday. That was a good workout. Put in some work. And now look at you. Day 66. Going for a nice, easy 2-mile jog. You might be sore. You might be tired. You might not be in the mood to run. But you're here. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Last night had a pretty productive evening of work. My routine is becoming so strange in my job. Like, the way I cut up my day, it's just really odd. I think it's working. Whew. Those thick thighs got in the way. Lady starting her day with some shrine worship. Alright. It's funny, I woke up this morning before I went outside for my morning sunshine. Like, all the windows were super fogged up. I was like, no, it's hot out. Sure enough, it's 81 degrees, but the humidity right now, oh, it's something else. It is just wild how thick the air feels. It's like running through water. I'm gonna walk for a minute. Do a couple. Yeah, the ground's not level enough for this. 1 second. Feeling a little twisted in my hips, so. And I think I was starting to run a little bit impatient. And today's a recovery, so I'm gonna walk it out. We can still hit that distance on a walk, so. No, I didn't sleep very well. Sleep's really important for recovery. I don't do a good job at it. Right now I've been averaging about 5 hours of sleep on a good day. 4 hours and 30 minutes on a bad day. And then on a really nice day, like 6 and a half, 7. I do take midday naps. Not every day, but a lot of days. It's because I stretch time zones, right? So I wake up at 4:30 so I can get prepped and get out and do whatever the heck this is and get my mind right, start my day, feed my kids, do my work. Around 1, 2 o'clock, fall off the energy cliff naturally. Normally take like a 20-minute to like an hour and a half long nap, because it's not quite, but it's like I'm working a weird swing shift, because then I cook lunch for the kids. I'm gonna do another hinge. Or sorry, I cook dinner for everybody, and then I have work again. Oh, this is great. All kinds of things working on this. We do a couple high knees and just working it out. That's the fun thing about like the recovery though. You could walk it, you could run it, you could add stretches into it. We don't have a large goal or target. Now the perk of being able to show up, lock in a light pace and just get it done is you get it done. You could be done with this workout in 24 minutes. For me, I gotta do some twists, some stretches. Gotta work out this old bag of bones. But yeah, so I go back to work at like 8 p.m. after the kids go to bed, which is pretty wild. And then what do I do after that? Work till 9:30. Yesterday I worked till about 10:30. And then I normally play Ghost of Tsushima, which is a samurai game on the PS5. It takes place on the small island of Tsushima between Japan's mainland and South Korea, which was invaded by Mongolians. Play that for 30 minutes to an hour. Get to bed at 10:30 or 11:30. How gozaimasu. Oh my gosh, this humidity today. After that rain last night, I am like drowning in sweat. And I don't feel like I'm exerting that much. Today is a gift that we don't have a long run, or at least for me. Right now I'm increasing my stride length a little bit. There's also a little bit of tension in lower back today, so I'm being mindful of that. How gozaimasu. Alright. I'm gonna waddle back into a trottle. Nice and mellow. See where that lands me. because I got stuff to do today. I think I need to do Moose Stretch C when I get home. Actually, I'll probably foam roll. I normally foam roll on Wednesdays, just because this workout takes the least amount of time. So it's a little easier to carve out margin to roll. Nice. Oh, it's so hot. Unfortunately, I'm in no man's land. Like, I didn't bring any money because I was like, yeah, 2 miles is easy. Drank a whole bunch of water before I left. All that water has already left my body. Oh, there's Tamagawa. Nice. So this road naturally gets busier throughout the morning. So it's already waking up. Whew. See, that's a world I don't know. Whole cycling thing. Y'all are brave if you're riding on the streets. I don't want to deter it. There's ways to do it safely. But I remember being a young driver, you know, like 15 or 16 years old, during rush hour, trying to stay in my lane. Just a nice 2-lane road, bike on the left, freaking out about passing with enough room not to hit the bike and enough room not to hit the car in front of me, and a head-on collision. Terrifying. Terrifying. And that person's getting passed all morning on their workout. It's like, oh, what are you doing, bud? But no, I don't want to deter you. If you love hopping on a bicycle, getting that distance in, and you know how to do it in a way that's safe, that's totally cool. I just have apprehensions. Oh my gosh, that humidity. Whew. It might be the worst it's ever been, friends. Come on now. Running through water. How does that look? Bro's got weights while he's walking. Respect. I guess that was. We're out here putting in the work. Let's go. Your turnaround's at 1 mile, so you should be close. I'm getting up there. But as you know, I get the 0.15 bonus. And psychologically, that one gets me every time. No matter the run, I'm like, the alternate at 3.5, and I gotta go 3.65. Working on my lean, squeezing the walnut. How is that one? Alright, let's walk in. Let's walk in. Roll my arms. That, oh. Nice. That's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna walk that 0.15, turn it back. Definitely got a foam roll today. There's some soreness, there's some twists. My body's pulling in some directions more than others. So I'm not out here to get injured. I'm constantly working towards pulling everything center. Let's do a couple hinges. I was gonna say I don't complain, but we know I complain every day. But today, dude, something else. I'm like, what are all these people doing out here? Oh my God. It's a beautiful reflection. You got some clouds in the puddle. Love that. That's so nice. It's like running off into the sky. Almost 1.5. Think up with the bushes. And we got more. Dude, that's 7 miler on Monday. That was no joke. We put in the work, we ran, we jogged, we walked. But we traversed it. I think that whole workout was like an hour and 50 minutes or something for me. It's impressive. Super impressive. So it's funny, on this walk, I'm like totally losing the squeeze in the walnut. And I think part of it was yesterday we did the squats, particularly the single leg squats, which should be more of a quad than a glute. Quads are on top of your thighs. Glutes are where you sit. But for me, when I compensate, I do squeeze the glute a little bit just to hold form. So right now I don't have a lot of squeeze. My lower core is also a little bit exasperated. So it's hard for me to get a good tilt and good form right now. I want to sink back and walk in a way that's not safe. So I'm still working on tucking my tailbone and activating. And not to preach to the choir, because you all know this, but like we run with our back and our core just as much as our legs in this program. So that's why you see me walking a little bit more. Is let me round it. So you're over a mile, good work. We're at 1.15. Like that's why you see me walking. Is I'm not gonna go with bad form. I have the capability to. If I needed to run a mile right now and I couldn't get my core turned on, I could start running with my legs. But I know tomorrow or even today, it would throw my back out because the impact would be pushing my little discs into the spinal cord because they're already squished. Be right there. So instead, I gotta recognize what's my capability today. And how do I remember that today's workout is an active cardio recovery? So I can save some for the fartlek next, or this Friday, save some for the long run on Monday. And right now, really, still work on training form. Finding that walnut, cracking that between my cheeks. Tucking the tailbone, squeezing the abs, working on it, can't find it still. Gozaimasu. Let's get another one. And all the while, I am still sweating. Let's get a twist reach. This one could be a little vulnerable for me. Over the top. Over the top. Yeah, I gotta do the one where you lay on your back and then open your back up the, I think I call it the old man stretch. I don't know if I call it that in the video or not. Right where you're opening up your back I think that's what I need this morning, because I can feel like my upper torso is facing this way, and then my hips want to face just that way. So there's some kind of wrong in there. And for the case of today, can't seem to figure it out. I still have discomfort between my shoulder blades as well from the Monday run. But yesterday's lift got things in a better position. And this morning I woke up with the least discomfort there. Right now I feel it a little bit though. I'm like trying to figure out, where do my shoulders sit? Wiggling them around. So these are all the body checks you should start doing. It's not really about you showing up and checking a box for 2 miles, especially on today. But it's like, where's my body at? What do I need to squeeze more? Where's my form? And if you walk this whole thing, walking at a slightly lower cardio intensity does burn more fat. When you're running, burns a little of everything. I think that's how it works. I know, y'all could look it up online. So walking's not gonna hurt you, all right? It's not gonna keep you from your goals. But there's a time element for some of us. I was kind of hoping this workout would be a little quicker. I got a lot on my mind. I have a big grad school paper today off of 2 books I haven't read. And I still have a day job and kids. So I'm like, crap. So I have to do, oh shoot, what's it called? There's like a cheater reading technique I use. It's called like ransacking. You don't actually read the book, but you don't not read the book. So I have a template in Google Docs. Here's your study tip for the day from a pretentious engineer. I'm actually dropping into some squats right now. See if that helps. Whew. Those are sore from yesterday. Got my shoulders in a better spot. It's weird, dude. I do the right functional movements and my body remembers where it's supposed to be. All right, cool. I'm gonna keep walking though. I'm very, very fatigued from the heat. And I know I still got 0.8 miles, so I gotta be careful. Don't wanna be drinking out of one of these puddles. I do know where a sink is if it's necessary. I just prefer not to drink gray water. But yeah, your study tip for the day, right? Do something called ransacking. So I have this template I use for any book I read. Write the author, the book title. It's got like all the contents filled out for me. I just fill it in. So very top of it, first section is just a bit about the author. And the second part under that is like the author's intent. So first I read the front of the book, the back of the book, and about the author. And I power skim it. Sometimes a couple reviews on the book as well, because it just kind of helps me get the gist of like, why is this person writing what they're writing? What's the intent? What's their come from? Like, where's their perspective rooted? Because if you have the perspective of the author in mind, everything falls into place much faster. So I power skim for that. And then I'll normally read the introduction and the conclusion. And in there, I'll pull out some notes on what is the overall intent of the book, right? Because first we need to understand the author's intent, where they're coming from. You know, so maybe it's like, they work in academia, or they're a business person from Scotland. You know, like you could always get those little glimmers of like who you are. But then the intro and the conclusion typically reveal where the book's going and where they want the book to land. So then I'll rip through those. Whew, it's hot. 1 second. So I'm gonna push on my hips down right now because that seems to be alleviating some pressure from my lower back, because I'm struggling with the squeeze today. Feels nice. So I'm just using my hands on the edge of my hips and just putting pressure. This is stuff that works for me and my body. I am not at all physical trainer, therapist, fitness trainer, any of those things. So I'm just doing what I need to do to finish this out safely in a recovery fashion. Let's keep trucking. Oh, it's OG-san. Ohayou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu. OG-san, good people. So anyway, to the intro conclusion, and again, it's a power skim. I'm normally looking for those sentences of like, in this book, blah, 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 or we will blah, 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 blah. Or now that you've learned from the conclusion, now that we've discussed blah, 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 because that's normally where you hit like application. Like, give me that. And then the next section is organization of the book. So I literally take the table of contents, copy the whole thing, organize it in bullet points, and just lay it out so you have the perspective of the author, what you think the main gist of their book is from start and finish, the flow of the book and how it serves that purpose. So I can quickly kind of survey the chapters and see where they're going, the overall structure. And then once I got the whole structure of it, I'll then copy that outline again into a section lower. And then for each chapter, I'll skim through the book. Sometimes I'll read a full chapter, it depends. But I'll just start pulling quotes. So I don't really like highlight in books and keep books. I do everything digitally on Kindle. Noise. Whew. Yeah, we're gonna walk it. It's too hot. I got some fatigue things going on here. And we still got Friday, y'all. I'm not off the hook that easy. No snakes today, which is good. Get another hinge, man. Whew. I'm like, I just want my foam roll. I want foam roll and a big glass of water. I don't know why the cloud cover came in. And it's a little bit more mellow because the sun came out, so the road's a lot drier than it was. I don't know if you remember how wet the road was, or maybe I'm just disillusioned, but it pulled that humidity into the air, and then the clouds came and it like chilled a little bit. So maybe some of the water's out of the street. I don't know the meteorology of it. So anyway, I make all those, I pull the outline, copy those sections, and then within each one, all I do is rip quotes out with page numbers so I can go back. So depending on the organization of the book and the theme, sometimes I'll realize there's only 2 chapters I really care about out of the 12, right? Ohayou gozaimasu. There's really only 2 chapters that serve my paper, my context, my argument. Or sometimes it's a book that looks really valuable to me, and I am going to go through each section and enjoy the book sequentially. But because I'm a global leader and I got 3 kids and I make content on TikTok and I'm in grad school, all the things, right? Sometimes I don't get to savor and appreciate a full movie or a full book. And you do miss pieces when you work through it that way. But most of the time, even though it's a stressful way to read, it is efficient. The problem is it takes a little bit more focus because you're like stripping pieces and in your head trying to pull the gist of it together. And then when you get to paper time, I'll reread the compressed book. I'll read the author, their perspective, the flow of the book and how it serves the thesis, the key quotes from each section that I focused on, and then from there I could normally hop into a paper and crank something out and then relate it back to me in my unique leadership context or whatever the paper's on. I'm gonna do a couple back bends with a nice glute squeeze. And I'm finding it. Oh, it's tricky today. It's like by the time I'm done with this, I'll be warmed up and ready to run. It happens sometimes. Oh, how gozaimasu. Tuck the core. Tuck it, tuck it. So that's how I work through books. So it's a little stressful, but it's efficient. And every book I've ever read for grad school, I have that nice document for. So someday, if I'm motivated, I'd like to revisit everything I learned in grad school. Like I'll have time for that, but someday, if I'm motivated, find the margin. And then I'd like to compress that work even a little bit more and maybe make it something that's shareable. So people want to glean from different books that have served me and my leadership development, the way that I integrate work, family, faith, that they can kind of work through it and get a quick hit of what the book is and pleasure read it or read it for their context and kind of have my notes as an anchor to pull them through it a little bit more efficiently. Because sometimes if you have that reference, it's not cheating. Like, some folks only have time to read it that way, but if someone comes in and they just step into my quotes and like my micro summary, it's not a full cohesive thought, right? It's like quick gleanings for me. So for them, it probably doesn't fully serve them. They might need to do the same exercise or build upon what I did. But if they can rough through the book and get the feel for it, then when they read, it'll help guide what areas they focus on. So I think there's some efficiencies that can come from it. It's just helpful. Like, I've gotten to read some really cool stuff in school. I wish I had more time for it, honestly. But I'm a leader within a given context, so I can't stop leadership to learn leadership. Which I think is the big struggle for a lot of new leaders, is like, how do you transition from being a technical person, like an engineer, into a leader with no equipping? How gozaimasu. You know, how do you step into these things? It's funny, the farther along we're getting in this, these deadlifts, they're feeling better and better. Where I'm like, oh, this was a good recovery. Was it uncomfy? Yes. Did we have to pull it back from a jog to a walk? Yeah. But I got the work in. I'm sweaty, but I'm feeling fresh. And once I foam roll out my shoulders and my back and my glutes, which will be excruciatingly uncomfortable, I'll be reset and recharged for Thursday. Woo! I get to lift with Moose. I get the shade, get that cool river breeze now. The humidity is a little bit less. I don't know what kind of science is going on here. Maybe it's all metaphysical. Maybe it's all in my head. Maybe the elements haven't changed at all, but my mindset has adjusted the way I feel things, because I know I'm only 0.2 miles away from being able to hang out and reflect. And don't worry, friends, I know it's been a while, but I'm gonna give you some nice river reflection today at the end of today's workout. I mean, you're well over halfway, but when we talk about those 4 laps around the track to run a mile, we're still in the midst of the 3rd lap. There's still some journey left. It's still challenging. In the back of your mind, you might already be thinking and dreading that Monday's not that far away, and Monday's 8 miles, and 7 miles is really hard. 6 miles is really hard. How are we gonna get up to 13.2 miles, Joe? How are we gonna do that, right? Those thoughts are real. So I wanna give you a little bit of time to sit by the river and just reflect on what you've gained. Not on the dread of what's coming, not on the bigness of the full journey, but just where you've seen growth and personal progress as you're learning how to do things that are hard and challenging, and to do them in a way that's edifying, that builds you up, that's safe and empowering. Right? You might have noticed over the last couple weeks my complaining, my demotivation has shifted a little bit.
Total distance 2 miles.
There we go.
Total time 34 minutes.
It's because we're learning how to put in the work.
Split pace 20 minutes, 12 seconds per mile.
We don't have to coddle each other, right? I might still tend back to that, but it doesn't really serve us for me to be whining all that much. Wow, gozaimasu. Yeah, it doesn't serve us for me to be whining and complaining too much. I do it if it's fun. But on some of those lifts, man, I was like, yeah, let's put it up. Let's get it. Some of the runs, I'm like, let's go, let's push. It's not fake. It's just part of the journey. Eventually, you learn how to show up for yourself. Even though it's hard, even though it sucks, even though you don't like it. So I do want you to find some celebration in this reflection that's coming up. We're almost to the river. And get out of your head about the journey that's left to go. That will unfold day by day, step by step. And today you are not actively running 8 miles, so you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to think about it. Today, you spent 2 miles taking care of yourself and recovering. Reflect on that. That's so awesome. That is amazing. So let's hold on to those things. Let me know in the comments what you think about what's your big win over the last 66 days of this program that's going to propel you into day 67. All right, I'll do the same. Hi friends, hopefully that was restful. Hopefully you enjoyed that little time of reflection. Keep pressing on in the journey. You're doing really well, and it's going to be day by day. All right, day 66. We got a ways to go, but we don't need to think about that. I'll see you tomorrow, friends. Have a good one.